It's Mack. Welcome back, episode 38 of Icebreaker. AJ, how you doing?
Doing really well, Mac. We took a week off. The batteries are recharged, and I'm ready to do this. Let's
Yeah,
talk some
we're
sports.
raring to go. I just wanted to say that episode 38 is presented by Tribute Digital Strategy Group. Check them out at tribute.com. That's tribute with two B's. And yeah, excited to have them on board. They understand that every partner we engage with is has unique needs, and they pride themselves on being curious enough to learn your unique business opportunities and challenges. So check them out if you're looking for any digital strategy help. Great to work with, and really nice people as well. Before we're going to start off here, we're going to kick it off with the Western Hockey League is up and running. There are 6 games tonight, which is great news. It's been a long time since there was 6 games uh, in one night, and that would have been on Sunday. The Ice grab a 3-2 overtime victory to mark their fourth win in a row and are up and running. And we're going to hear from Ice forward Owen Pederson a little bit later in the show about how it's been in Regina, what the team's up to, that type of thing, as well as Mitch Peacock a little bit later in the show as well, who's in Regina covering the team and doing the radio play-by-play on CFRW 1290 AM. So we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But AJ, all signs pointing it's been great to have the Western Hockey League back.
We've got the whole league back now. Ice are starting off hot too.
Very.
Uh, so yeah, absolutely, like you said, and it's just good to have the kids back playing. I think that's the bottom line because there's a plethora of hockey that you could be watching right now, but as the future stars of hockey that we're hoping to build, it's just good to have them on the ice.
Yeah, and it has been great hockey, and you'll hear
Yeah.
about that a little bit later with Mitch. But you can check out all the games, the whole league wide for $59.99 this year at CHL TV. It's watch.chl.ca. It's a great deal. It's very good hockey, and if you're curious, I would have you check that out. You can get a day pass as well. And on another note of things there for the Western Hockey League, lots of teams are doing 50-50s to support their team's education fund, and the Winnipeg ICE are no different. They provide 25 scholarships to current and former ICE players every single year, which includes fees, textbooks, courses, all that stuff. The players get to go free of charge when they're done their Western Hockey League careers. And so the Winnipeg Ice Foundation 50-50 jackpot, last I saw, was sitting over $6,000, $6,200. So check it out. Tickets are pretty cheap, and you know what? You're supporting a great cause. The NHL's North Division is tight.
Watching the Jets here struggle for a couple of games against the Oilers. I didn't really see the sneaky Oilers climbing up the standings, and now all of a sudden they're in first place. Are they not after the last win against the Jets?
I believe so. And
Yeah.
you're right. I didn't see them sneaking up there either.
You know what? Watching the Leafs and the Jets, they had that 3-game series, and it was really evenly matched, and the two teams really had depth to them. And I hate to say this, I don't know where Edmonton would be if Connor McDavid wasn't playing hockey right now.
Oh, and it's 100% true. Without him and Draisaitl,
He's involved in everything. Every
yeah,
point that gets generated by the Oilers is somehow, even if he's somehow passed the puck and gotten off the ice, it's still his deal. He's really leading the team. He's in charge of the NHL right now.
he's a special player, and we're not going to touch him at all for our hot takes because what he's doing is pretty good. Unless the Jets start to match up with them headed into a playoff series, then we'll start touching McDavid for a hot take and end his season slowly. Have you been watching any of the March Madness?
March Madness hasn't ever really been my thing, but I'm starting to get a little more into it this year. I'm still not confident enough to take a bracket, though.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah.
I'm at.
I'm not confident enough in that either, but I'm confident enough to do a hot take surrounding March Madness. And
Okay.
that is that the Loyola Chicago Ramblers are going to head back to the Final Four after pulling up a huge upset on the weekend and booking their ticket to the Sweet 16. That's my Manitoba Building Trades hot take. It's
Do
not
it.
just any project, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. It's about building something great for Manitoba. That's why you turn to the talent and craftsmanship of Manitoba's expert tradespeople. Manitoba Building Trades is Manitoba's unionized construction industry. Productive labor is our business with over 10,000 skilled trades professionals We build what others can only imagine. Visit mbtrades.ca and come build with us. I think that's a hot take.
It's not bad. I, you know what? And here's the thing. I'm such a fair weather fan. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'm all on board with that hot take.
It's every time I sign on to an Instagram or Twitter or something, I'm seeing TSN post a upset alert. I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
These seeded teams are going down like crazy.
Yeah, that's the big theme of the tournament so far. It's early. We've got a lot left, and I'm interested to see if your take plays out.
Well, based on future takes, we will be having our fingers crossed.
Based on future takes, nah. But I do wish you good luck.
My understanding is that you're ready to grill me on some baseball trivia this week.
We're all over the place. We're talking hockey and basketball, and now based on the warm weather we're experiencing here in the city of Winnipeg, it's really got my mind on baseball. It's feeling like baseball season. So I've got some medium to tough baseball trivia here for you, Mac.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, you're right. Baseball is right around the corner. It's started, hasn't it?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, is it just feels like it's in the air.
Yeah.
So without any further ado, I think it's an easy question to start off. Which Major League Baseball team in history, Mac, has won the most World Series?
Wow. Well, I think it's between two teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure, but is it the team on my hat, the Boston Red Sox?
Oh, it is not. It's the other one.
Yeah, it's the other one.
It's the rival. The Yankees have 27 World Series wins.
Even if I knew for sure it was the Yankees, I'm wearing a Red Sox hat. I had to say the Red Sox.
Would have never picked them. Well, that's good, because I'll even give you a clue. The Yankees aren't running for the second question. Which team in Major League Baseball has the most wins in history with 11,194 wins? Which franchise?
Well, I'm going to stick with my same answer. Is it the team on my hat, the Boston Red Sox?
I should have prepped this better. No, it is not. It is, in fact, the San Francisco Giants, who have the best record historically in Major League Baseball.
I'm sniffing an 0 for 5 here, so...
0 for 5. Okay. Yeah, the questions don't get easier. This one is a little bit before this is a little bit before your time, but the guy's legendary. Do you know the name of the player who has the longest streak for consecutive games played Major League Baseball history?
Hank Aaron.
Close. He's number 2, and Cal Ripken Jr. from the Baltimore Orioles back in 98, I want to say it was, set the record. Cal Ripken Jr.
Wow.
The home run record in a single season, Mac, is 73. Who hit those 73 home runs?
Was it Barry Bonds?
That is correct.
There we go.
Asterisk, but Barry Bonds set the single season record with 73 dingers in one season. Nobody's going to break that, I don't think. No. So this last one you're going to have to take a crack shot at. I want you to name the only team in Major League Baseball history who has never had a player lead the league in home runs. There's only one team who hasn't had a player to lead the league in home runs in a season.
Wow, this is going to be a shot in the dark.
You're taking a 1 in 32 shot, I guess.
And I'm going with the
Don't say
Oakland,
Boston.
Oakland Athletics.
You know what? You went in the Southern Hemisphere. It was the Houston Astros.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Never had a player. I thought maybe Bagwell back in the day might have done it, but nope, never led the league in home runs. They've never had a player to do that. So now at least we know, Mac, to stay away from curling and baseball trivia. We're whittling down the sports.
Yeah, so basically, stick with hockey. I'm good there. Golf, I could get by. As we mentioned earlier in the show, coming right up next is some Western Hockey League talk with Mitch Peacock a little bit later with Owen Pederson. Great stuff. Stick around for that. Without further ado, let's bring in Mitch Peacock. Joined again by the voice of the ice, Mitch Peacock, who's calling games live from the Regina Hub. And I guess we'll start off with, what have you been most impressed with through the first week inside Regina?
Well, I think the thing that jumps out at me, Mac, is how the Ice have found their game so quickly. I mean, they hadn't played in more than a year. They had no preseason games. Nobody did. Everybody's in the same boat. But To go from a really intense physical game against the Brandon Wheat Kings in their opener and almost finding a way to get something from that game to putting together a 3-game win streak and looking pretty sharp in the process tells me a lot about a couple of things. The preparation from the coaching staff, also the preparation and support from people behind the scenes who've helped them with their mental approach. And it tells me a lot about the players buying in, being ready, being focused, adjusting on the fly, and really being able to find a game that works in a short amount of time. That really says a lot to me about the way everything has come together here. And they're not going to win every game, but to find a way to win 3 in a row says to me, there's a lot of good things happening early on.
Yeah, and it's funny, after the first game, as you mentioned, when the Ice went down to the Wheat Kings, and we were talking to players after practice, and was there an urgency to start, to get off on the right foot in the next one and win? And now all of a sudden it's 3 in a row, 20 games left. The team's looking good, as you said. Is there any performances that have stood out to you so far through 4 games?
How much time do we have? There's been a bunch. I mean, it's funny how it goes, right? If the team plays the right way, individuals look good, and that's what we're seeing. And on all ends of the spectrum, guys that are supposed to be just here getting their feet wet, all the way to guys like Peyton Krebs, who have been around a while now and know how the league works. And on the young end of it, there's nobody younger than Zach Benson. And he's got himself a couple of goals, scored a fantastic opener to his WHL career with an incredible shot high over the shoulder of Isaac Poulter in the game on Monday night. That was part of that first win, the 6-4 decision against Swift Current. And, you can see players' abilities in glimpses. It's tough to judge a player when you only see them 3-4 games. But in the short time that I've had a chance to see Zach Benson and also gathering information from the coaching staff, you see a tremendous skater, a guy with great hockey sense, obviously a really good shooter, because not only did he beat Poulter with that shot, but a few nights later he provided another highlight reel goal with a shot up high. And you really see a player with a lot of tools. And then beyond that, he's jumped out and done a tiny bit of penalty killing. He's played in a couple of different roles in terms of the lines he's been on. And he's shown a competitiveness, even though he's 5'7", 150 pounds. So that jumps out at me, when you talk about the youngest guy on the team catching your attention and contributing offensively. But boy, it goes on from there. If you stick with the forwards, Connor McLennan and Peyton Krebs have points in 3 straight games. You don't win without your best players being your best players. Owen Pederson has jumped in and picked up where he left off. He's got a couple of goals now and is building on that 28-goal season. Jake and Smallwood, James Patrick said, best player on the team first couple of games. He's showing a consistency. He's playing with a new physicality. He can play in all situations. He's a guy that sort of grabs your attention because of the fact he's taken a step up, and you can see it already. What can you say about Connor Geekie? I mean, the points may or may not be there for him at this stage, but he's got a goal. You can see his size. You can see his poise. The game changes to the speed that he wants to play at. He's already dictating at this age. He's centered. He's played on a wing. I think you're going to see James Patrick rely on him more as a center to give him that chance to get comfortable in that position. Problem with these kinds of questions, Mac, is you can leave people out, and I hate to do that. On the blue line, when you lose a player like Carson Lambos, you know that you need people to do things that they haven't been asked to do before. Ben Zalotti has stepped up alongside Nolan Orzek, and boy, those two guys look like they've been on the top pair for a while. Orzek's been a rock back there. An easy guy to not notice right now because of how steady he's been, how consistent he's been, and how he's battled in the heavy minutes against good players. You would know from your experience, you usually don't notice defensemen unless they're making mistakes. And so Nolan Orzek is kind of going under the radar right now, but anybody who's watched it closely will see he's taking to that first pairing minute situation very well. And then a guy like Mike Ladyman comes into this year. He wants to play more. He wants more minutes. He wants to prove he's a good, solid Western Hockey League player. So he gets himself in fantastic shape, the best shape of his career. And he comes in, and again, he can play minutes and play against good players. And he looks like he's pretty comfortable out there. So, those are a few of the guys that catch my eye. And then, all 3 goalies have been good in their opportunities. And it'll be fun to see just how this goes from here, because there's a confidence growing in the group.
And I know from me watching from the outside, the games haven't been sloppy at all. And you might have expected them to be sloppy. Have you noticed the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. I'm very surprised. Like you, I thought they would be sloppy. I also wondered if they would lack energy and intensity with no fans in the stands, and really very little in the way of any atmosphere. The players say that it is strange. They do miss, that the fans getting behind them at key moments in the game, like after a penalty kill or something like that. They do notice that the people aren't there. But at the same time, the players have said when you're competing and when you want to win, and your group is pulling together the way these guys are pulling together in these unique circumstances, you kind of still find that intensity, you still find that energy, and there's that determination to win. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool actually the way these guys, have found their games and have played in a very different set of circumstances and look as good as you could have expected.
Yeah, extraordinary young athletes. And it's a busy week for the Ice this week, 4 games within the week, and you catch all the action on CFRW 1290 AM. I guess tell us a little bit about the pregame show, postgame show, and the intermission show.
Well, it's all Kevin Olszewski. we meet on the day of the games, usually get together for 30 to 45 minutes. We work our way through what we think are the important topics in the pregame show. We discuss a little bit about the intermissions, and then, you have to kind of react on the fly to the post-game show. But, he's so knowledgeable and so enthusiastic. He's a great watcher of the game. When he watches a game, he sees the performances of the individual players. He sees the system work of the teams. He's really able to kind of define key moments in games. And when you're calling the game, as I am, a lot of people may not be familiar with this, but you're really following the puck around. And so there's things you don't pick up on. And there's changes and tweaks that happen that sometimes you don't necessarily process on the fly either. So to have a partner who's so sharp like that and so aware of what's going on, it's a good combination. It's fun to work together. And I think a really big addition to what we're doing beyond Kevin joining us and making an impact is the post-game show. Because on the post-game show, not only do we have a nice length of time to break the game down and look what's happening in the other games, but we get to hear from the dressing room. Like, the game's been over 5 minutes and we're talking to the coach. The game's been over 10 minutes. We got one of the key players from the game on telling us what happened. I mean, that kind of coverage really makes you feel close to the action and really makes you feel like not just two guys saying, well, I figured this or I saw that. These guys played, or these guys were behind the bench and they're answering the question right there. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's it's a nice package from the beginning of the game, getting people wound up and ready to go, all the way through the end, where you get a chance maybe even to look ahead to the next game.
Yeah, and you can catch all that on CFRW 1290 AM, the iHeartRadio app, or you can stream it live from winnipegice.ca. Mitch, appreciate the time, and we will talk with you soon.
Look forward to it.
Well, thank you, Mitch. Always a pleasure having you on the show. Great insight. And we're going to switch directions here. We're going to go inside with a player who's inside the East Division Subway Hub, and that is Owen Pederson. Without further ado, Owen, welcome to the show. Joined by Winnipeg ICE forward Owen Pederson, who's currently inside the Regina bubble. Well, we're going to get to that in a sec. I want to take you way back to where it all started. I know you're all grown up now, but where did you start playing your minor hockey, and I guess how did you get into it?
Yeah, I started in my hometown, Stony Plain, Alberta, and my parents just got me into it. Both my siblings played, and I just loved it ever since day one. But all I can remember is just watching my brother and sister doing it, so me wanting to do it as well.
And your brother and sister are older than you?
Yeah, my brother's 4 years older. My sister's 3 years older.
All right, cool. Do you remember, like, when I think back to when I started playing, I don't remember much, but like there's a couple things that stand out. Is there anything in your mind that stands out from when you were a kid playing hockey?
Yeah, like from playing, a lot of things stand out. Just the memories you have with your teammates, and one couple memories that just have always stuck in my head for some reason is we had I think it was my first year playing, we had a tournament on an outdoor rink in my hometown, and that memory stands out a lot for me. I don't know why. That's probably the biggest one that sticks out, but I have a lot of memories growing up, and little things like in the hotel playing mini sticks with your teammates and all the little things like that.
The good old days. And now we're going to fast forward from the outdoor rink to your first Western Hockey League game. Who was it against and what do you remember?
It was against the Saskatoon Blades in Saskatoon. We won 4-2. I just remember it was lots of fun and definitely different. Much faster pace than I was used to at the time, but I just remember it being lots of fun and happy we got the win in the game.
And I know, the Ice are 4 games in the Regina bubble to this season, and every game we've seen some solo rookie laps. Were you able to have your moment on the ice alone in warm up?
I actually shared it with Carter Prasovsky. We were both making our debut on the same night, so we both went up there together and did a kind of duo solo rookie or the first laugh or whatever. Yeah, did it
That's
together.
pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
Last year was your first full season in the Western Hockey League, and you had a pretty productive season. What did last season do for you as a player, both on the ice and off the ice?
On the ice, last season, it's just built my confidence up a lot. I saw what player I can be in this league, and I saw a lot of areas I still need to work on. And I just think I developed a lot throughout the year, and off the ice, I got a lot more mature, getting that full season in, and really just got more knowledge about the league, and got to learn lots about just living away for a full year and what it's like to be mature in that aspect.
Is there a mindset, I guess, when you're coming into a team, it's your first season, maybe you're coming into camp, you're wanting to make the team and you're happy with whatever role you get put into place. And then as the season moves on, you find yourself on the top line, going out there in all situations, counted on for offense. Is there a mindset shift, or is that just something that you've always wanted to be doing for a team?
Yeah, no, just going into it, like you said, just kind of would have been happy with any role. Just trying to work my hardest, have fun, and wherever role I end up in, just try and do my best at that. And as the year going, we had some injuries and some call-ups to World Juniors, so I got an opportunity on that top line. And once you're on that top line, you want to try and make the most of it. And I just thought if I can play with those good players, if I can do it, I do best, and compliment them and they compliment me, we could have success. And I just thought once I had that opportunity, I wanted to make the most out of it.
And make the most out of it, you did. So take me through this extended off season that we're currently, just finishing up. It had been just about a year of an off season, something that, you haven't ever gone through and no other hockey players really ever gone through.
Yeah, it was a long, stressful off season, a lot of just unknown uncertainty. You don't really know what's going on with everything. So I just tried to have the mindset where I'll just try and be ready as much as possible when we do get the call to return. So it's tough at times because you don't know, but I just tried to train hard all summer and try and stay in the best shape as possible for whenever we do get the call. I was ready, but with the extended off season, I was able to do a lot of other things, like with my family more, and my friends from back home more, and kind of do things I wouldn't usually get to do. And a lot of golfing this summer, some fishing, some time at the lake. So it was a long summer, but it was a good summer.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just on the things that you couldn't normally do. And for me, when I think about that, it was being able to watch NFL football every single Sunday
Yeah,
throughout the
absolutely.
season, and something that I haven't been able to do in who knows how long. Interesting that you say you tried to stay, in shape the best you could. And obviously with the unknown, that's tough. And I'm not sure what the public health protocols were in Alberta, but was there times where the rinks were closed, the gyms were closed, and you had to adapt?
Yeah, there was. at the start there was nothing open at all. So I had a little setup at home that I would be working out in, and the rinks didn't open for the longest time, so there wasn't really much skating at first. But as things got going, things started opening up again, and then another wave hit, and things started closing up again. So I had a nice little gym setup at home that I was using lots, and went during the winter when the rinks weren't open. I was going to the outdoor rink as much as possible in full gear, trying to keep that feeling of playing hockey in full gear on an outdoor rink, because that's all we had. But there's definitely a lot of adapting going on.
Back to the outdoor rink, just like the good old days. So when the Western Hockey League finally announces that the East Division is ready to go, we're going to play starting on March 12th. What's the feeling?
It was awesome, honestly. A feeling I've been waiting for a year. So it was I was just excited to see the guys. I know the guys were really excited. But it was been nerve-wracking the first year in it, but more excitement than anything, and I was just pumped to get here and get going.
And obviously the nerves come from the unknown, like how's it going to work? Where are we going to stay and all that? But all that's sorted out now. We're 4 games in. How's it been through 4 games? I know you've scored a couple times now. Just the emotions of being back on the ice.
It's awesome. It took a game and a bit to kind of get that feeling back, but I think we're all pretty happy with how it's been going so far. We're kind of back in that hockey mode. The rust is shaking off for the most part, and I think we're enjoying our time here at the dorm. We're not getting sick of each other yet, and just kind of hanging out with each other as we're following the protocols, just in small groups with masks and stuff. So still get to see each other, and no, it's been lots of fun so far, and I think the hockey's been going good, and I think we'll just keep going up from here.
And I'm on the outside looking in, and just from watching, the NHL playoffs last year and those best of 5s and the round robin, the start of the season was very sloppy, and they had been off for 6 months. Have you been surprised at the lack of sloppiness? Like, these games have been very, very well played and not sloppy at all.
Yeah, I actually have been. Going into it, I thought that the games would be high scoring, lots of chances, and maybe a couple blowouts here and there. But the guys were talking, and all the games have been close, tight checking. The systems look like the teams have been playing all year, and it's tight checking, competitive games. It doesn't look too sloppy out there, so that definitely surprises me.
That's a testament, obviously, to you, your teammates, and everybody else in the league for staying ready for then the season would start. But that's all I got for you today, Owen. I appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Mack. Have a good day.
Well, that'll just about do it for this week's episode of Icebreaker. If you haven't already, check us out on social media at Icebreaker Show with 2 W's. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. We're available everywhere. We appreciate everyone who's listening and downloading it. It means the world to us. Hope everybody has a great week. Check out some WHL hockey if you haven't already, and we will talk to you next week.